Hello and welcome back to the On the Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Why we do this on a Friday night? Because Friday night is horror night. As you can see, there are two former guests on the show. It's a record tying appearance for one, with his third appearance. Mark, you are our second time returning after a very popular first episode when we discussed a different movie. But tonight you rounded up a few to have a chat about your newest upcoming title in Grind. So this is the director and co-writer of Grind, Mr. Mark Cantu. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me back. I appreciate it. Hopefully this will be the second one, and then we'll do a third one after this, third or fourth appearance, and we'll keep on coming back. As long as we keep making movies, then we'll just keep coming back to you.
As long as they're horror movies.
Right, exactly. Right. That's
We
the
don't,
only caveat.
we don't want none of them rom-coms here.
Right. So does it count if they're horrible movies? I don't know if that would qualify.
I don't know. I've seen some bad rom-coms that could be horror movies.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Who knows?
And as I said in the intro, a record tying appearance tied with a friend of his in Cheney Morrow. How are you, actor and producer on Grind, Mr. Daniel John Kearney?
I am good, buddy. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure having you back.
Thank you so much.
Watch as Cheney lines up a new episode now to get the record back. Absolutely. And it looks like a fine day you have sitting out the back there.
Yeah, I love it. And just in case if like my kids come home or something, there's no chaos. Beautiful, beautiful day in New England. I'm
pretty sure the last time I was speaking to you, you were outside as well. So
yes. I love being outside. Love the sun.
You had an awesome Jaws t-shirt on as well.
Yeah.
This one looks a little bit more weathered.
This one is a little more weathered. This is actually screen-worn Grind gear in the film. I don't want to spoil anything, Mark, but this
official
is
apparel.
So I thought it appropriate to wear it today. Good old scumbag Dell.
Nice.
And his
he
nice
said
wardrobe.
He wanted to show some skin, and that's what he said. He was going to bring the sex and ice cream to the interview, and that's what he was going to do.
Did he forget? Did he forget the ice cream?
Apparently, yeah.
And then we have the lead actor in Grind, Miss Kelsey Rhea. How are you?
Hey, I'm glad to be here. It sounds like you gentlemen have set a pretty high bar for number of appearances and having fun with you. So excited to make my debut and see what happens.
We've had a few appearances along the way. Different projects, different conversations, same banter.
Yeah.
And then in the top corner, well, it is in my top corner, we have an actor from the film, Mr. Daniel Thomas Ebeling. Did I get it right?
That's you right on the dot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thanks for taking time out of your days to come on, folks. Obviously, it's afternoon, evening time for yourselves, depending on where you are based. So, what better way to spend a Friday evening?
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Talk and shop.
Beautiful. What time is it there?
It is, at the time of recording, 11:10.
Oh
my PM. Yeah. It's great. It's nice, mellow time. Kids are asleep. Wife's gone to bed.
Oh, that's good.
So let's rock and roll. So we might as well jump straight into it then. Mark, we'll start with you. Obviously, previous episodes that we had with yourself over Wolf Hollow?
Wolf Hollow, yeah.
Yeah, I had to think there. I was like, yep, definitely Wolf Hollow.
There's a hollow in there somewhere, yeah.
Very fun werewolf movie. Obviously, we spoke in depth about obviously werewolves, and everyone that watches the show knows I'm a big fan of werewolves.
Right.
So you mentioned at the end of that show that you were writing the script to this one, or you were getting ready to go to production. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, it was so funny because we actually kind of came off of Wolf Hollow, and I was under the impression, and now when I say this, I genuinely meant, I was like, I'm going to take a break. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And we were getting the movie ready for distribution, and it was like we were sending it out into the world, and I was like, great, I'm done. and I kind of had a bit of I guess like an anxiety attack or something happened there where I was like, I'm just gonna take some time off. And within that month or so where I kind of just retreated into like a cocoon and just didn't do anything, I was literally just like painting one day, and then all of a sudden my brain just turned on and was like, you know what, you should make a poster for something. And I was like, I don't know what I'm making this for, and I don't care. I just want to be creative. And I quite literally, it was so funny because it was so crystallized the first time it came out. The way the title card is right now, the fonts for the movie and everything, that's exactly what I put down the first time. The only thing that's changed is like the hands that are on the logo. Other than that, everything was there from minute one. So it was like, okay, I've got this logo. I don't know what the hell this is, but like, and so then I kind of started to reverse engineer the movie basically at that point. And I was like, well, what if it's about this? And what if it's about that? And what if it's this? And so like all these little layers started to kind of like fold on top of each other organically. And like within probably like a week, I had a really solid idea for the movie. And I was like, I'm gonna have to do this movie now. So then like the next 2 years of my life just gone. So yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in terms of movies, obviously we love having of the indie scene and all the people that I have on Instagram as well. This movie's doing the rounds, and the popularity for this is growing to no end now. It's
Yeah.
like everywhere I look, it's just there. I'm like, I know
Yeah,
those
no
people.
pressure. No pressure at all. Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I'm like I've got like a little note on my computer. I'm like, do not fuck this up. You could at some point. Don't fuck this up. So
But like no, but like in terms of I see it everywhere.
yeah.
Like everywhere. Like I've seen people putting up their most anticipated movies of the year. This is in it. It's in one of mine. Obviously, I follow quite extensively people that have been on the show. I'll tend to follow what they're doing and keep up to date with it. And I like to watch stuff that they do to see how they're getting on. So when you mentioned it to me, I was like, okay, well, we'll follow it. And then I seen it take in production. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. And that's a testament to people like Dan. I mean, the part of the team. I mean, Dan, this is our third movie that we've done together.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like Dan knows how to help push a movie. He knows how to help get the word out. And it just starts to kind of take on a life of its own. And so by the time, hopefully, this is my hope and dream, is that at this point in the horror community specifically, we've got enough of a track record where we can kind of go, this is kind of what we've done before, guys. So like we're each time we're growing a little bit more, with each project. And so I feel like that's part of it, is that, everybody sees our faces kind of coming back and going, oh, it's these guys. We know that they deliver quality work. They deliver, at this certain bar, and we trust them to deliver a good time. With the movies. And like I said, and it's a testament to Dan, Brian Sponis, Brian Bell, and like I said, a few other producers that we've had come on that just know how to push the movie and get it out there as well. So
that's always it's always a good sign, isn't it? Especially when you have trusted people.
Right.
Yeah.
And
if I can just piggyback off that, I mean, we had such an amazing time, and going back to what Mark said in regards to how it kind of came to be with him. We were just talking, and he said, Dan, I'm kind of thinking about this, and he told me a little bit of synopsis, and with Mark, I was just like, let's do it, let's go for it, like full throttle, let's go for it, because like he said, we just have a great team, a great group of people, and Mark is a machine. I'm telling you, I don't know how he does what he does, but he is a machine, and he is really a creative powerhouse. So he just presents it, and I look at it, and it's just unbelievable. And Mark, with this one especially, like the way he had to film it, and again, it's hard to explain without making spoilers, but when we were on set, I was like, man, how is that gonna look? Like, it's just how certain ways were shot. I was wondering how it was gonna look, and he showed me the footage now, and I'm like, oh my God, it looks incredible. It just looks incredible.
I have a feeling that he could text you in the middle of the night with going, I have an idea, and you're just gonna go, I'm in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's pretty much
not
right.
far off. That's not far off at all.
You just send a blank page and be like, you in?
That's literally all I said. I'm just like, Dan, are you in? He's like, sure, whatever it is, let's do it. I don't care.
Pretty much.
Obviously, Dan, you've become quite popular. And I said it to you on the two shows. It says the work that you're doing is a testament to yourself and everyone around you. And there's a reason you keep getting picked up for all these movies. So like, fair play to you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. It really does.
And it's great to have you back on as well. Obviously, a record tying appearance. It's always a fun time. But obviously, you mentioned there that he was, we were talking, and he gave you the pitch, and you were just in. So that was going to be my question: is how did you get involved in it?
Yeah, that's he gave me the pitch, and he said, Dan, I have a character for you. And I think, Mark, if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I was like, Mark, please just give me, if you can, give me a character that's just going to be like the meanest, biggest scumbag and like ever.
The complete opposite.
I just want to be a scumbag, and I want to be a horrible, horrible person that has like no redeeming qualities. And yes, that's what he did.
As an actor,
was like, yeah, no, I got somebody for you. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I'd say as an actor, though, when you go from playing, say, a cop role or whatever, playing the same, not the same kind of roles, but same-ish kind of roles, to playing something the complete opposite must be great fun.
It's a lot of fun, and I love every minute of it. It's always wonderful to be somebody else for a little while, and love it. And I had to be so mean to my poor friend Delilah, but in the end, I think it'll play funny as well.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. So.
It was funny too, because I hadn't met Daniel, and I just was on set, and my first, in-person time with him was, watching him be this character. And he was such a jerk that when he came over and was like, hi, and so nice, I was so like disconcerted because he was so believable in this role. He did a great job.
Yeah, he sells it very well. Look at that fake smile sitting there.
Thank you.
Well, I'll leave you till the end, Kelsey, obviously being the lead. So, Daniel, tell us a little bit how you became involved in this project.
So I originally found the casting call on the Facebook filmmakers page, and so I was scrolling through, and I was looking to get more into film. I did a lot of college films with the Student Film Association at IUPU, where I went to school, and I was like, you know what? Let's try it. So I put out, and I gave my headshot, everything. I got contacted by Mark, and I remember getting the first sides for it, and my friend Carolyn, God bless her soul, she was like, I'll help you. I'm like, thank you so much, because she's done so much more than I have.
That was a mistake.
Yeah. But yeah, I read
got it.
Yeah. So yeah, I read the scene as I read for Maddie first, and then I read for Hutch. And after reading Hutch's sides, I was like, man, this is really just me, like nerdy movie buff guy, terrible flirting with lady, like that's just me. That's perfect. So yeah, that's
awkward.
Yes, pretty much. So yeah, that's how I got involved. And I'm very, very happy that I had that chance, because I mean, everybody here, I feel like we all became a family through it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Like there's something that's been mentioned by probably countless other people that we've had on the show, that once they make a film, it becomes family. Like, I think that's a difference between horror and other films, especially indie horror anyway. It seems to be such a close-knit group by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. But like that they're saying that it's basically what you are. Like, it's amazing when you see even top actors and like high-end celebrities that are like socially awkward outside, like when you see them on stage and they're doing all these interviews in front of thousands of people, and then you see them on stage and they're just withered away in the background. Like Pedro Pascal is one that you see all the time, with his social anxiety, that he just doesn't do anything. And then you see him on stage and he's just completely different. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, what's funny to kind of piggyback off that, Greg, is that I actually, Daniel, I think at some point I think I showed you but I actually had a sketch of Hutch, like the very first, and I was just throwing ideas out on a sketch pad, and I was like, I think I want him to look like this, and I drew it out, and then I think once we cast Daniel, I was like, this is kind of how I saw him, and it was like the moment I saw his audition, I was like, that's the guy right there. I was like, there's no question in my mind, and you just get that sense almost immediately. And what's funny is that, and again, I think I told you this at some point too, Daniel, is that like Hutch is basically me off screen. I'm just like, I just wrote myself. I'm like, this is what I would do. This is what I would say. And so like, even through the entire process, like Kelsey's got a great arc and everybody else has got awesome moments and everything else. And I was so kind of quietly protective of Hutch because I'm just like, I really want to make sure that nobody like touches that one because that's kind of like I feel really bonded with Daniel and I know he's gonna do a good job. So I'm like, just let him breathe, let him do his thing. But the amount of character and quirkiness, but then heart that he brings to it is just something I couldn't have even written on the page. So it was amazing.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it. I always find with these kind of movies, some indie movies, there's no character arcs really developed. Obviously we spoke in depth about it the last time, Mark, and how the character arcs in Wolf Hollow went, and I was really impressed with it. So I'm fully expecting the same again here.
Well, that's a perfect segue for Kelsey then.
Well,
because she is like she basically carries the entire movie. I mean, it's one of those things where the not to kind of spoil anything, it'd be weird if I spoiled my own movie, right? But like the arc, the emotional arc that she goes through the entire movie, it was something that we talked about in depth where it's like I'm going to put you through the ringer here. I'm going to make it difficult some days, and as long as you're signed up for it, like we're gonna have some amazing results at the end of it, and something that you're gonna be super proud of. And like I said, so Kelsey, I don't know what it was like on your end, but I just know watching her work that arc was just absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I just said that's a perfect way to bring her in. So we'll bring in the lead actor of the show of the film. So Kelsey, tell us a little bit about how you got involved.
Yeah. Well, just like my character Emily goes on a journey through the film, I kind of went on my own personal journey to get to be Emily. In that, when like the first round of casting was going around, I actually auditioned for a different part and wasn't the right fit. But I had, I'd seen Mark's work and I was so excited and I wanted to be a part of it. So, months go by and they ask for like featured background. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that would be awesome. And then maybe 6 weeks or so before filming, I get an email from Mark that's like, so if a part is available, would you be interested? I'm like, hell yeah, like, and so, just through some conversations and reading the sides and having the opportunity to audition. I mean, he's right. Emily gets to go on this whole arc, and I think that there's these feelings and themes that are so relatable, and it's so. I think it's so exciting because in the middle of all of this craziness that's happening, and there's just like there's it's so real. It's so real, and to have the opportunity to be able to take people on that journey and to be a part of this, it was a real privilege, and it's definitely my favorite role I've ever done so far. So,
Oh, bold statement to make there. Well, I mean, like that's obviously a testament to Mark's work as well. I mean, if the movie hasn't even come out and you said, "Yeah, this is my favorite role that I've done," like even talking to a few people that have been on the show that were in Wolf Hollow, they've all said the same. Great on set, fun to work for. Well, you say work for, but work under basically. So to come in and be such a major part, coming from it'll be a featured background to the lead role, that doesn't normally happen.
No, but that's sometimes what happens, in this career and in this field, that you just never know what things are going to lead to, and so you keep going and you put everything into it. And yeah, we had so much fun. we got together and watched an early cut, and I felt sad at the end because I was like, we don't get to make this anymore. Like it's like that part is over. And I'm like, I want to do it some more. And it was so fun. And so
So that
everybody
means
was
Mark
so
has to
great
make
to
the
work
second
with.
one now, or
Right,
just
right.
or
No
just a
pressure.
different movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kelsey, I always call it and compare it. I always say it's like bringing your kid off to college. That's the feeling that it's like, okay, okay.
Here you go. Bye bye.
know,
See you now.
Send them off into the world.
Time to
Love you.
fly.
I love you. Go into go into the world, and Mark as the the dad that raised the film, and off to college.
But I'll give you a funny one between you all. I actually don't even know what this movie's about. Like not a clue.
Hopefully it's a good thing. Right.
Yeah, I like obviously Wolf Hollow. I figured was going to be about werewolves.
Yeah.
It was kind of a cute.
So I'll give you the elevator pitch, Greg. So basically the way I pitched it to everybody was it's a group of college students that wind up having like a good old fashioned like grindhouse movie festival. And like Evil Dead, they wind up kind of unearthing this like cursed movie that they find, and then just all hell breaks loose. So you're just kind of like that's the jumping off point for everything. And like I said, it's got a lot of H.P. Lovecraft. It's got a lot of the old gods and things like that. So lots of references to things like that. But just like Wolf Hollow, I mean, it's also a super personal journey about going through parts of my life and kind of writing that into the story, which Kelsey is like responsible for most of the movie, and what happens, she kind of like helps propel the entire movie at that point. So
I'm just looking at the sorry. Well, within saying that, I watched the trailer when it dropped. At the time of recording, it was last week.
I think it was last week. Yeah.
And I was like, "What is going on in this?" Because obviously, I said I didn't know what was going on, so I just put it on. I knew it was coming from yourself. I was like, "Deadly,
Yeah.
here we go." And then I watched it, and I was like, "Not sure what I just watched here." I was like, "Are they making a movie? Are they in a movie? Is it a meta kind of thing?" And then I watched it again.
All
and
of
I was
that.
like,
Yeah, it's 1,000 times. Yeah.
Some of the effects from what you see in the ads looked unreal already.
Yes.
I'm
I
all
have
in
to
anyway.
hop in there. I got to tell you this because when Mark, I can say this because it's in the trailer. That flamethrower is not CGI.
No, it's not.
Awesome.
So Mark had mentioned to me on a call. I think it was me, you, and Felissa were on a call talking about stuff, and he had mentioned a flamethrower. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he's gonna get one of the things. He's gonna make it look really good, and we'll CGI it up. And he goes, and there's a goddamn flamethrower I'm looking at in the dailies. I almost pissed my pants. It's like, what you see is what you get. Ooh, I couldn't believe it. He went all out. I was in shock.
A flamethrower.
Yeah,
yes, that's real.
Yeah, it's 100% real. So there's a guy here in Pennsylvania that we know who I've worked with 1,000 times. His name's Tread Barton, and he owns his own gun range. He's got like every gun you can think of. He's got mortars, he's got machine guns, he's got 50 cals. I mean, like so anything you want, he's got there. And I knew that he had this in his arsenal, and I was just like, so is it possible to you? And he's like, I can spare it. You've got maybe 3 burns with it, and that's about it. Just because the fuel, like it burns through the fuel so quickly. And I was like, okay, cool, great. Well, then we'll get our cameras set up. And I was like, but you can't CGI that. I mean, you could, but why would you want to? And so it was one of the things where I was like, you know what? If we're going to do this, let's do it like they would have done in the 80s and do it for real, do it on set, do it on the day with as much audacity as possible. And so we got out there, and I will tell you, it was July when we shot that. We shot for 1 day on that bit. It was hot before the flamethrower.
I'd say it was rough.
And then it was hot when the flamethrower, and we were like, we had like 2 camera positions covering the burn, and it was maybe, I want to say I was maybe like 50 to 65 yards away. And the moment she fires it, like you could feel it pierce your skin. Like that's how hot it was. And you're like, oh my God. So I can only imagine what Annette, who's the actress, I can only imagine what it felt like with it in her hands. And it like that thing terrifies the hell out of me. So like I said, it's nasty. So, but it's, if you're gonna do something like this, you're gonna have to do most of it for real, you know?
Well, I mean, you said there you wanted to do it like the 80s. You wouldn't have seen John Carpenter in the thing using CGI.
Right, right. We use no CGI, like I said, and part of it, like I said, and again, I'm not giving away anything that's not in the trailer. Um, some of like when everybody starts to get possessed, their eyes, you know, kind of glow, and they walk around like these kind of silhouettes with like these big glowing eyes. And when I was writing it, I was like, do I CGI that? Like, how do I do that? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find a way to do it for real. So we've got real actors walking around, kind of like in the World's End, and they've just got goggles on that have very thin like tubing, and they've got like these little pulsing lights that are just right in front of their eyes, and they can see perfectly fine. But they're walking around with these glowing eyes, and I'm like, if we can do it for real on set on the day, then let's do it. And that was across the board, whether it was visual effects, makeup, hair, like anything that we could do on set, let's try to do it in camera. So, and it makes a big difference.
Practical effects win all day, every day.
All day, all day.
So then for the three of yous, what was it like to work? Well, even the four of yous, what was it like to work with? Obviously, Dan, you've worked with Felissa quite a lot. But like that's one of the legends of the business. And like what was it like to work alongside her? Lynn Lowry's another one, is another legend. Like they're not small names to put into an indie film.
Yes, yes. Does anybody want to go? Felicia's one of my dearest friends. I love her. We've done so much together. But this was the first time I ever got to work with Lynn directly, and I was honored. I have some really good stuff with her. I was so excited when I found out that I was going to be able to work with her, and it was really, really an honor. Like, shivers and things like that. Some of my favorite stuff. So I was a little starstruck, but we had a great time, wonderful time.
That must tell you everything, right? So you're really good friends with Felissa Rose, right? As I said, she's a legend, and you get starstruck when you see somebody else. It tells you everything, doesn't it? It's like they're not, as I said, they're not small names in the business.
Yeah, so it was really an honor. It was wonderful, and it was very exciting. And I think everybody just brought something beautiful to their parts of the film, and the way it's blending together, it looks awesome.
Deadly. What about for the rest of his? What was it like to work with caliber names like that?
Well, I mean, I think, it's always an interesting dynamic when you get to meet somebody that you watched in this whole parasocial. You feel like you kind of know them a little bit. And so just getting to meet them in person is such a cool experience, let alone getting to actually work with them. So yeah, it was a great experience.
But yeah, no, it was I'll never forget the day that Lynn was sitting in the makeup chair, and I went and I was like gonna go grab. So on set we had some chocolate Twizzlers. Now, like I'd never had them until that day. Well, holy crap, Brian Saponis started an addiction. Anyway, I went to go grab some, and I saw her sitting in the chair, and I was like, I want to say hi, but like I'm just this new boy who is new to this stuff. So I just remember being like, I'll talk to her later. And then I'm just talking to Shonda in the main like hallway of the theater. And she comes up behind me, and I'm like, it was one of those moments like, she's right behind me, isn't she? And I was like, hi, how are you? And she was like, hi, sweetie. Like she was the nicest lady on the face of the planet. So it was a lot of fun getting to work alongside, just people on that level of just professionality and just with a history of filmography. It was just a surreal experience.
She didn't take your chocolate Twizzlers, did she?
Those and the key lime pie ones. That was Stan's,
I didn't see
and
those.
chocolate Twizzlers were Brian's, and
These Twizzler flavors were probably the most divisive subject on set,
Well, I mean, it could
whether
be
you were in
worse.
favor or against them.
I mean,
It was
if
like-
You know
that, it
what?
has
We
to,
were making a horror movie, and we were covered in slime, but those Twizzlers were the grossest thing on set. Come on, guys! Like that's
I
just,
mean, when you look at that, there's always something that divides people when they're making movies and stuff,
thank you,
right?
thank you.
Just be thankful it wasn't politics or religion or anything.
Exactly.
You've
Right.
got a film set at war over which flavored Twizzlers you want to eat. I don't
Right.
even like
Brian
Twizzlers.
Saponis started it on Wolf Hollow. Like he was like all about chocolate Twizzlers, and like so as we were ramping up for like production, I happened to go to a store and I found like key lime Twizzlers, and I was like, oh, he's gonna hate these. And I bought them, and they went over like gangbusters. Everybody loved them, and I was like, what the hell, guys? Come on. And they were like cream filled Twizzlers, and I was like, that's the grossest thing in the world. So yeah.
Not gonna lie, I have tried those key lime Twizzlers when I was over there the last time. They're disgusting.
Thank you.
Disgusting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. Twizzlers in general are disgusting.
Goodbye, Daniel. Goodbye, Daniel.
Yeah,
You
Twizzlers,
turn your camera off.
Twizzlers themselves are disgusting, though. Not gonna lie, I didn't like them. Wasn't a fan of them.
So just in general, you just don't like them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, see, the essential of what they are, I do like over here. I just don't like the brand Twizzlers.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
No.
All right, fair enough. Yeah.
But no, key lime ones were especially bad. If I had to pick, I would have went chocolate myself.
Mhm.
But
I think
they
I'm the
did-
last person on the world. You know a weird thing I like to drink and eat? I don't drink soda, but I guess I do drink soda because I love Fresca. Who drinks Fresca nowadays? Am I the only one that drinks that?
It is the best soft drink on the face of the planet.
false,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
I got my
False.
friend Adam
False.
on it. Like I
Oh.
had it. I moved into my apartment. I had like bottles of it, and he's like, "What is Fresca?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"How do you not?"
I don't know what
What?
that is.
And I was like, "You're," and literally just gave him a glass. And I swear to God, every time he goes to the store now, his fridge is just stocked with Fresca. I'm like,
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I don't know
So-
what that is.
The two Dans and the Fresca. There we go.
We don't have that over here. But I'm gonna tell you are wrong, completely wrong,
Uh-oh.
because Dr. Pepper is in fact the greatest drink ever.
Oh, I do like.
I'll
I
check
like
them
this
out. Yeah.
Dr.
There you
Pepper.
have you guys tried Olipop?
I don't
Yeah.
have that either.
That
It's
I
like
haven't,
healthy
no.
soda. It's like probiotic, and like they have one called Dr. Goodwin, and it's literally Dr. Pepper, but it's like only 5 grams of sugar. It is like fantastic.
No, the 25 grams of sugar per bottle is what makes Dr. Pepper Dr. Pepper.
Thank you.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna drink it, I want the full effect of it.
If I'm gonna die of something, let me at least taste it. Come on, Daniel.
Mhm.
But obviously we're Kelsey, I know you're gonna be heading off because you've got to head to set soon. So what was your favorite? I'll just jump in with a couple of questions for yourself, because obviously you're gonna drop out. What was your favorite moments on set?
Well, I have a lot of them. The one that comes to mind is I have a pretty emotional scene with another actor, and it was just this moment where we were just both so locked in to the characters and the moment, and we were, it's like that when you get to work with talented people and it just makes you better, and it was
Everyone
just
ups
a
their
really
game.
special moment.
Awesome. All right. What was it like to work under Mark?
Oh,
Was
it
was
was
he mean?
great. It was great. I mean,
I'll drop off here. I'll see you guys later.
now I can tell you. No, I loved working with Mark. Honestly, more than any other director that I've worked with has, he tells you what you need to know, and to how to get, to get you to where you need to be. to deliver, that performance. And, talk about getting to work with somebody who's so talented that makes you better. That's how I felt working with Mark.
Right. So now he's going to give you the brown envelope.
Well, you know what's funny though is that, the moment Kelsey's talking about, it was like it was the pickup day, right? Is that what you're talking about, Kelsey? And it was, and again, not to spoil anything, but like I know exactly what she's talking about. And probably one of my favorite moments is our interaction before we started shooting that. And it's one of those moments where like I don't even pick up my camera. I don't even look at my camera. I'm not even lining up a shot. Like it's literally just me and Kelsey off in a corner on some chairs in the theater talking about the emotional stuff and talking about the emotional baggage and like what are we trying to be clear about? What are we trying to say here? What are we trying to cover? What feels right for the moment? And really narrowing down, like the scene could be about 25 different things, but it's really only about these two things here. So just kind of hold on to these two things, and I'm going to push and pull you, but it's gonna be worth it. So you have to trust me, but I know that you can get to these levels. And so it's just having those conversations in between takes like that I think are probably my favorite parts, even though like you're kind of lost in this big, machine of everything. It still comes down to moments like Dan and Daniel have, and then Kelsey has. Like it has to be about real people at some point. So
That's out there.
yeah,
That's it now. You got told. That's what you do. Sit in the corner and talk until it works.
yeah.
Right, Kelsey, just before you drop off then, give me your top 3 favorite horror movies.
Oh
Normally ask
gosh,
this at the
no,
end.
you should have.
No pressure.
No problem. Yeah.
No.
Everybody gets this question.
I feel like it changes, honestly, from time to time. I really liked Long Legs. I thought that was pretty good. I like some of the newer horror.
No.
I like I like the Maxine trilogy.
I love them. They were fantastic.
I mean, talk about girl power. So I like any of those. And, one, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'll say it's probably one of them. It was like my entry into like real like horror was watching Scream sneak watching Scream when I was a kid, like at a sleepover, because my
Nice.
mom was not such a fan of horror movies. And that really just kind of was the first,
Either
step
was
in
mine.
opening up this world. And I'm just thankful that now I get to be a part of it and get to create some of these movies for other people.
And now you have your horror moments.
That's right.
And hopefully more to come.
Absolutely.
And as I said, we normally keep an eye out for former guests and what they're doing. So don't be surprised if we reach back out in the future.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, because I mean, I gotta catch up to these guys here. Their number of appearances, right? So.
Long way back at this stage.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
thank you
Well,
so
not really,
much. It was great getting to chat with all of you, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for taking that time out of your day, Kelsey, and best of luck on set.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later. So, what was your favorite experience on set, Daniel?
Dan, which Dan?
I was gonna say
You're Dan.
I'm not in this. I'm
Daniel.
not part of this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're Daniel. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you okay? This is so sorry.
No, Daniel Thomas.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna call you DT then. Just
okay.
DT and DJ. There you go.
DJK.
Some of my favorite parts of working on this film, there's a lot of really fun action-packed moments that really I don't know, channel the inner child in me. Growing up, I loved like playing airsoft with my friends and like playing with toy guns and stuff like that. So when Mark came to me on the test photo day and handed me this SMG with a sniper scope on it, I started cackling. And Mark,
I still got it.
I got to keep it. I got to keep it.
why in God's earth is there a
And I
scope
love it.
on that SMG?
Because
Grease.
the whole point behind the scope on the machine gun, it's one of those 80s things where it's like if you look at any good 80s action movie, they've got scopes on everything. Everyone's got like a revolver with like a massive, like Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's character pulls out like a pretty massive revolver already. Like that's imposing already. And then he's got this huge, which like the laser is bigger than the gun.
Yeah,
Like it's just like, why is that on there? And it's just beyond, it's overkill. And I'm just like, you know what? He has to have a scope on the gun. He never uses it, but it's there. It's just one of those little touches. I'm like, if you appreciate 80s style action, you understand like that has to be there. It's just a prerequisite. So
But yeah, no, that was a very fun part, just doing all the fun little action things. But there are moments in the film that are very, you know, dramatic, and there's a lot of emotional backing to them. And I think that's another thing that I really had a fun time with. Because, you know, having, you know, all fun and games. And then when you have like a dramatic scene come out of nowhere, it really kind of, I don't know, it tests the I guess level of just acting, you know, because when you're, you know, going at a comical nerdy guy for a while and then you go to this emotional moment, it's like, who is this guy? You know, who is this character? This isn't nerdy Hutch. This is like he's just a completely different person. So I would say, yeah, those were two of my favorite moments on set, and also getting to know everybody and making friends through it. But yeah, those definitely are my favorite moments from working on this.
All wholesome moments. When's anyone going to give out the bad stuff?
Oh, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now.
No, you don't count because I want it to be about you.
I've got a list here that, you know, we can just kind of go down and no, I'm kidding.
What about you, DJ?
You know what? Again, I'd say it to you every time, but not to sound corny. I'll make it quick with this part. But my favorite part of any film I do is I truly care about the cast and everyone we work with. It's like an extended family. You're connected for life. To the day you're not on this planet anymore, you made a movie together and you're connected in that way. So I really value those relationships. And people text me sometime all late at night or in the morning, and it makes it. I love the relationships that I get from the films that I do. So that's number one. But as far as experience goes on film with Mark and this, Mark and I, we just gel so well when we're working together. And there was a moment, and Mark, I think you know what I'm going to say, but we kind of called an audible. We were having a little trouble with a technical difficulty with the door in a moment that was supposed to be more of a thrilling type moment, but it kind of developed on the spot into more of an emotional moment where I have to look at my daughter in the film, and I'm kind of becoming, you know, dad, and I'm kind of the situation is developing a morphing. And in that moment, I had to go from a caring dad, and you see me in that moment become a manipulation. I start manipulation, and I tried to make it look and feel very authentic. And I think at that moment, something magic happened between me and my two castmates at that time. And hopefully it shows up on it that way. I hope everyone feels that way, because in that moment, that was one of my favorites. That was really intense.
Nice.
Well, and I'll just to kind of like amend that as well for Dan. It's so emblematic of the way we approach everything on set. And when I say we, I'm talking about the entire team, because the moment that he's talking about, it was really like I was fine with it. I was watching it through the monitor. I'm like, no, this looks great. This feels right. It feels like it's on point. And to his credit, Brian Saponis, who's one of our leads, but he's also a writer, producer on the movie, he was over my shoulder. He was behind the monitor. He was actually kind of watching in Video Village. And he was like, I think we can kind of push that a bit more. Like, I think I can really, like, let's kind of juice that a bit more. And to his credit, he jumped in, and we've gotten to the point where we've done so many movies together and so many projects there's no ego, there's no questioning, and that goes across the board for everybody. Where it's like, yeah, we can kind of just step in, and I'm like, and I could feel that Saponis wanted it to be something a bit more. So I was like, you know what, go for it, let's do it. And I backed him on that, and it led Dan to an even better performance than he thought. Like, I'm at a great point, but then he took it up another level, and you're like, holy shit, this is even better. And so it's everyone kind of not necessarily quality checking everybody, but kind of keeping everybody honest and going, you know what, I think we can be better here. I think we can, and not being afraid to be challenged and hear that something might not be quite playing the right way.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite moments because it's a collaboration at that point. It's not just me dictating to Dan or Daniel or you know, Kelsey or anybody just saying it's my way. It's like, no, okay, what's working, what's not working here, you know?
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
1000%.
you hear that quite a bit, and especially in indie films, you'll see things develop that have happened that weren't intently done that way, and it works better. And some
Right.
directors will take it and go, okay, fine, perfect, and then some don't, and they're like, no, this is the way I want it. Do you know what I mean? So,
And I've never been precious with stuff like that, and I've always told everybody, like, when they're going into it, um, if something sucks on the day, tell me. Like, if it's not working, then let's fix it. And again, yes, I've hired you to say my words. Yes, I've written the script with 3 other people, and we've poured all these months into it. But when you get there on the day and you look at it, you're just like, it's just not quite gelling the right way. Something's not working. You have to be sensitive to that, and you can't put your ego in front of that. You have to be able to go, yeah, it's just not working. And because again, at the end of the day, we're making a movie not for us, but we're making a movie for an audience to enjoy. Because like you were saying before, once the movie's done, we got to let it go. Like, I have to let this thing go and breathe on its own and have a life of its own. And you can't do that properly without letting it grow on the day, in the moment, and letting something organic happen, you know?
but it's also about trust. Like, obviously, you're letting Brian come in and do
Right.
something that's not supposed to be the way you envisaged it, and then you go,
Right.
okay, that works perfectly. So then you'll
Yeah.
trust him to, if it happens again, and he says to you, look, let it ride, and we'll see what happens. You know, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You have to reshoot it.
Right, exactly. And like, we go back and, you know, have to pick up a shot again or something like that. But it's one of those things that happens after you've done like 3 or 4 features with somebody, where you just kind of go, I trust you completely that you know what you're doing on that side of it. Because we've had not Dan, but Brian and I have had experiences before where we were on a shoot on Massacre Academy. It was our first movie together. And I told him at one point, I was like, there's like a big slaughter scene, and like he's exiting as this killer clown. And I told him, I was like, you know what? Turn around and take a bow. And he's like, really? Like, that's what? And I was like, trust me. Like, I really think that that's the button on the scene, and let's do that. And he was like, okay, I'll do it, but I don't see how it fits in. And I don't remember getting a bigger applause than that moment at the premiere, where it was like, holy shit, like, that really fucking worked, because you realize the audience is with you. You realize it's working on a different level. And so it's little moments like that where Saponis will try something and I'll try something, and you just learn to trust each other over 6 or 7 years that we've been together at this point. And you just go, I trust that your instinct is not something selfish. It's something that's, you know, just trying to create art. And at the end of the day, that's all we're all trying to do together at the same time, you know? So
It's a gift to each other. It's a gift. It really
right.
is. It's a gift.
Right.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, just before we start to wind down, obviously, I know you have an August 9th premiere date. I think you said
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh, wasn't it?
Yes, so we're gonna have August 9th at the Lamp Theater, which is in Irwin, PA, which is like a little suburb of Pittsburgh. It's like 20 minutes outside Pittsburgh, but
Yeah, so you're in Steelers country.
right,
You can stay there.
right, right.
And then what's the plan for it after that? Is it festivals? Is there a
So
plan
typically,
fully in
yeah,
place?
before we actually have our premiere, we'll start submitting to festivals, because typically they'll let us know there's like a month or two, you know, advance before they kind of make their decisions. So it'll start being out there probably about a month before that, where, you know, content aggregators for film festivals are starting to look at it already. After the premiere, we're supposed to have another premiere up in New Hampshire with some of our other producers, and then I know we're looking at some screenings down at the Alamo Draft House, like in the Virginia, Maryland area, and then we're just going to try and bounce out to California, a couple of other states, maybe
Connecticut,
Michigan,
we have a free one too.
Connecticut as well. Yeah, so there's quite a few plans to get it out there on its own before we even sign a distribution deal. So
Nice. I'm just looking at some of the cast here. There's a few people. There's a fair few names that anyone that follows the indie scene will recognize in this.
yeah.
A couple of former guests we've had on the show. Molly Sousa's here. Robert Todd Kennedy's here. Obviously Brian, who was on for Wolf Hollow as well.
Yeah.
To name a few. Others that aren't here now.
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's one of those things where it's a testament to Dan, to Brian Saponis, to Brian Bell, our other producers, Lance Reedinger. Everybody's so good at getting the word out, even when we start writing the script. And it's like, hey guys, just FYI, this is coming down.
Oh, I think he's frozen now, or I frozen now.
Everybody's way. So yeah, by the time we're ready for auditions, like everybody's ready, everybody's keyed up, and so everybody kind of wants to jump in and be a part of it. And like you're saying, it's such a big horror, it's such a big community in the horror community, especially. It's such a blessing to have everybody kind of come out of the woodwork and go, hey, I'll come in and do a day. I'll do 3 days. I'll do a week, and it's just like, damn, like it's an embarrassment of riches on my part to be like, okay, how do I fit everybody into the movie now? And there's so many good people that want to work at that point. So.
Well, that's also a testament to your own films and how well they've been received. That people want to keep coming out for you. Like even just to come off the name, say Mark's making this movie. People are going, well, okay, I've seen this movie, I've seen that movie, I'm in.
Yeah, and honestly, it's only because I'm surrounded by fucking amazing people. Like that's the only reason I can do my job, because everybody knows what they're doing, and I can just sit back and I can have anxiety about all the stuff that matters on the day and just kind of be focused on that. And I know that I don't have to kind of like, there wasn't Daniel, like you can kind of maybe speak to this too. There wasn't a lot of like finagling of like, well, here's what Hutch is going through, and here's what I'm just like, hey, you know the territory. Like I've hired you for a reason. I don't need to babysit you, and like I'm just gonna turn you loose. Maybe like an adjustment here, an adjustment there, but like I said, you're surrounding yourself from the beginning. All of your hard work is done before you even get to set, like by casting, by makeup, all of that hard work is done. So by the time I get there, everybody knows what they're doing,
The right way. Trust
Hopefully
the team. Trust the team you've hired. Well, it's worked for you in the past, so I'm sure it's going to work again.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah,
and it also helps that Mr. DJK has a Rolodex of everybody ever.
Exactly.
Just love people.
Or maybe people just love you.
I don't know, but thank you, but I don't know, but I love working with the people. I genuinely love, and Dan, I wish I got to work more with you. But it seems like in the film we worked a lot more together, but the way it was shot, I didn't get to work with Daniel as much. But next time. I was
gonna say it was a bummer because I was like, this guy seems so cool. I can't wait. Wait.
Are you talking about the same person that you're talking to now, or are you picking somebody else?
Yeah. But we're all very lucky. The horror community is just incredible, and it's a real blessing to be a part of it. And we don't take, if I can speak for everybody, we don't take a second of it for granted. I'm so thankful for every moment of it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And it is, and we've spoke extensively before that, Dan, about the horror community and how close everyone is. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, a horror film can be terrible and still be supported, or a horror film can be amazing and still be supported, or it can be anywhere in the middle and people will still support it. Right. So, I mean, you'll get non-horror fans that will look at it and go, this is awful. But then you get a horror fan looks at it and goes, well, that's a nice little throw to this movie, or throw to that movie, or throw back to this trope. And
Right.
like that's why the horror community is probably the best knit community in film.
It is the best.
But I gave Kelsey the question, lads. Give us your top 3 horrors. Excuse me. Who's pleading the
I've
fifth
already
here
answered it,
first?
but I'll answer it again, but I'll let them go first.
Oh God, Daniel, you go.
Oh man. Okay.
Pleading the fifth doesn't work here either.
Hereditary, hands down.
We're done. This is over.
Messed up as all hell, but great movie. Freddy versus Jason. I'd have to say that's another of my favorites.
Oy.
Man, this is hard. Third,
You're not going well here.
no, I have to say the original Friday the 13th.
So
Love
Like
that one.
how like they set it up and just how it's, you think, oh, Jay, and it's like it's not Jason.
I'm
Twist.
I'm not a fan of Hereditary at all. Like, at
Really?
all. No, not at all. Tried it once, then I tried it a second time, and I'm like, nope, not for me. Freddy versus Jason had every bit of icon culture you wanted, but if you watch that as a non-horror fan, the movie's atrocious. I love it, but it's atrocious.
I still
mean,
don't know why they decided to do, Jason in space.
well, that has probably the best kill in any of the Friday the 13th. So
Oh, wait, are you?
Okay,
the
that's
liquid
a face.
nitrogen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was awesome. Now what I will say is, yeah, I would agree with you on the last one. The original Friday the 13th was awesome. It's probably one of the only horror movies I watched growing up that actually scared me. And it wasn't even that the movie scared me. There was just that one kill where Kevin Bacon gets killed when he's lying on the bed and the arrow comes up through. Because I had the same kind of bed as that.
Oh
And
God.
I seen it when I was like 12, and I was like, nah, that bitch ain't getting me. So I'd be sleeping with my head one side one night, and then they'd come, like, I'd be the other way the other night. No one's catching me.
It's like what is it? The Nightmare on Elm Street scene with Johnny Depp where like it pulls
bed.
through and the blood goes like everywhere, like he gets sunk.
Yeah.
That gave me nightmares as a kid.
That's probably one of the most iconic kills in horror. And that is, in fact, my favorite horror film of all time. Where we go, Mark? What do you got?
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. So at the top of my list, this is my favorite movie of all time in general, but Jaws is the first one.
Yeah.
That's the granddaddy of them all for me.
Obviously, it's Jaws 3D now, the best of them.
How dare you? How dare you? With the slow shark just
the paper mache.
Oh my God, it's so terrible. It's so bad. If you had said Jaws the Revenge, even then that's a terrible one, but I would rather watch Jaws the Revenge over Jaws 3D.
The premise for Jaws 3D was awesome.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
No, but the premise for it was awesome.
The premise is great. Right, exactly. Like it's an interesting idea, but the execution is just so mind-numbingly slow, and you're like, my God, this is boring. But Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. Right behind that is The Thing.
Oh yes.
So, and
the greatest remake in any film.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it's one of it is Carpenter's best movie. That's my personal opinion.
That's wrong. That's false. That's false information.
So then, what are you going with then?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay, I can give you that one. That's not. I would argue if we're going that route, then I would say They Live is probably right up there.
I'm taking Big Trouble in Little China all day.
I disagree.
All day, every day.
We're just gonna start fighting right now. So I'll say The Thing as number 2. number 3, and I know a lot of people put like The Exorcist up there. They're just like, it's amazing. And I'm like, Exorcist is great. It's fantastic. But for my money, if I'm going for what gets my at my core, I'm going to go with The Fly, which is Cronenberg's 86 movie. And I'm like, that's just an amazing movie in general. So, but it's
also,
such a,
also up
it's
there
like
as
a
probably one of the
play.
best remakes.
Right, exactly. It's one of the best remakes along with The Thing, but it's almost like a stage play. It's just a 3-person stage play basically. And you're like, and the end is so operatic and beautiful and tragic and
Kill
gross
me.
and right. And you're just like, this is so heartbreaking. And there's not a lot of dialogue that happens in the last 5 minutes of the movie. You know, and you're just like, I'm
Phenomenal.
watching opera. You know, you're just like, this is fucking incredible. So those 3 are my top 3 horror movies of all time.
Yeah, nice. Well, the thing I've said on every show, didn't matter, once it's mentioned, I'll always say the same thing. It's the greatest remake in any genre ever.
Yeah, yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah.
And everyone would be like Scarface or The Departed. No, give me The Thing over them any day.
No. Yeah.
I love both of those other movies, but the thing is the greatest remake ever.
Not a fan of Scarface, to be honest with you. It's not on my list.
Yeah, I get that. Like a lot of people don't like gangster movies, or they don't like the way that The Departed is done, or they don't like this, or they don't like that. I love all kind of them movies. I love gangster movies anyway. Like I love Scarface, but I'll take The Thing as the best remake ever any day.
Yeah.
Where are we going,
And
DJ?
for me, you already know some of them, so I'm trying to think of names I maybe have said before. And I know you don't like some of them, but
I don't like any of them.
I know.
No,
I know.
Dan, I got it for you, Dan. I got it. Grind, Wolf Hollow, and Massacre Academy. Those are his 3 favorite horror movies of all time.
There you go, right there.
I have seen
Yes.
one of those 3.
That's it.
Absolutely. But I love VHS movies still. But now well, I love the brand. But I'm saying I still watch VHS films. I love watching VHS films. But The Omen is up there for me. I love the original Omen, which I know you don't.
No, I don't mind the original album. I just wasn't huge on it.
Oh, I love.
What did you think of the first Omen?
I really like that one a lot.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
I thought it was really good.
That finished as my 4th best movie of the year last year.
Yeah, I really like that movie a lot. I love all horror. I spent a ridiculous. I've seen every. I mean, if you ever really wanted to talk, I'm telling you, it's sickening. I watch one before I go to bed every night, and whenever I can't sleep, I watch one. But I also love Psycho 2.
Ooh, bold
That's
choice.
Yeah.
Psycho 2 is. I'm sorry. I think is a better. It's a better, more entertaining film than Part 1. Part 1 is a better shot film. Part 2, I think, is more entertaining than Part 1. Psycho 2. I've seen that movie.
There's definitely that aspect. Like, if you look at, say, the original Texas Chainsaw 2 is the more entertaining of the 2.
Right.
Right. If you look at, say, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is probably the more entertaining. Not more entertaining, but it's more easy watching than the first one.
Yes.
It runs in that kind of category. Like the first one has to be a trend tone setter, and then they can kind of free reign it whichever way they want in the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get Psycho 2. That's a good one.
Oh, I love Psycho 2. And I'm just trying to think of different movies I didn't tell you last time. And for some reason, I really, really love. I'm borderline obsessed with it. Scanners.
Ooh,
That's a good one. Yeah.
that's a
With
good
Michael
one,
Ironside. I love that movie.
That scene in the boardroom is gas.
You don't like it?
No, it's good.
Scene in the boardroom is good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. Like, and I also love The Fog and stuff like that too. That's my true favorites. But there's just something about a group of people in a place and time that is just. It's such a horrible place and time, but you kind of wish you were like there, experiencing with them. It's the weirdest thing. That's how I explain the movies I like.
Fly on the wall.
Yeah. So Scanners is always really interesting.
You told me Chopping Mall was your favorite movie of all time.
No.
Chopping Mall is awesome. What's wrong with Chopping Mall?
Nothing. Nothing's wrong with it. Yeah.
Good
Don't
old,
get mad at me, Kelly Maroney, but
good
yeah,
old
no,
80s B horror is great.
Love
oh,
it.
that's
It's
my
so
favorite.
good. Yeah.
Like,
Which is
like
partially
sleep.
what inspired Grind. Like all those types of movies. I'm just like, that's what we're aiming for right there. That's the center of the plate. Cheeseburger movies. That's all we're doing.
But see, that's why there's also a point that I like. The Mutilator is one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously I had the pleasure of interviewing quite a lot of the new cast, and I got to interview a few of the old
The second one.
cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to interview Buddy and Ruthie and a couple others along the way that were in the original one. But what I love about it is it's simple as you know who the killer is straight away, and you just sit back and watch shit happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with that, lads. It was a great formula. Like that's to an extent, that's why Friday the 13th worked so well. It was just sit back and watch what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with Sleepaway Camp too.
Do you know what? I don't think I've seen Sleepaway Camp 2 since I was like 12.
What?
Yeah. I always just watch the first one, and then I do forget that there's 2 and 3.
Oh, I love part 1 and 2.
Isn't there 4 as well?
Is there?
The fourth never. It's sad that I know these facts, but the fourth one was filmed in 1992, and then the production company went out of business. So there's 40 minutes of footage, but it's just footage that they shot on a camera.
Oh, I was going to say I knew there was 2 and 3. I just always forget when I'm watching stuff. Like I'll normally go through if I watch one horror movie. Like I love the Wrong Turn franchise.
Yeah.
So once I watch the first one, I'm like, all right, well now I'm in for 7 movies of it.
Right.
I'm all in. Same when I watched the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going through the run here. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I get that. I do. And some of the sequels to films are great. Obviously, you mentioned Psycho 2, which is one I haven't seen in a long time as well. I might have to go and rewatch. I have to rewatch the first one soon anyway. So it's getting to that time of the year again.
Yeah.
I do think though, obviously Anthony Perkins in Psycho was phenomenal. What do you make of his son's adventure into horror?
I don't know too much about it.
The son done Long Legs and the Monkey.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Osgood Perkins is his son. Yeah.
Perkins, right? Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Did you not see either of them? No, Long Legs or the Monkey?
I saw Long Legs. I love Long Legs.
I did.
But I haven't seen the Monkey yet. I saw it pop up when I horror movies, and it pops up on your TV, and I was gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's completely different to Long Legs.
I know we have to wrap up, but I do want to tell you this. If you want to talk about favorite movies as well, a movie that you need to see if you haven't seen it yet that is so underrated, it's called Super Dark Times.
Super Dark Times. I'll throw it.
Check it out. Mark, have you seen that yet? Dan, have you seen that?
I don't. That doesn't actually even ring a bell. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. It's 1990s growing up to a T. If a worst case scenario happened with a group of your friends, check it out. I'm telling you, you'll fall in love with the movie.
I have it.
It'll go on.
I will screenshot that, and I'm going to give that a watch.
Yeah, if we're talking about like obscure movies like that, then like 2 of the ones that like definitely influenced Grind, are from, I think Steve Kazansky was like The Void and Psycho Goreman. Like those 2 movies are so hilarious. Like Psycho Goreman's they're both different, but Psycho Goreman's so amazingly funny, and then The Void is like super fucked up and dark and just like, yeah, I love both of those movies equally. So
Psycho Goreman isn't that old, isn't it? It's only a couple of years old.
Yeah, it was like 2019, 2020, something like that. So yeah,
that was awesome.
I love the hell out of that movie. That's so good.
It was awesome. That was.
Yeah.
Have you got an obscure one?
That's a good.
I got so obscure, Daniel. But do you have one?
I'm trying to think if I have one because I really, it's funny. I was into horror a little bit, but it wasn't until after being in Grind that I really started watching more like horror movies. But as for obscure ones, I'm really trying to think. I don't want to sound like, mm,
Oh,
you know,
he's the
I
baby
might
of
need
the
2 to
group.
3 business on that one. I honestly, I feel like I'm like a horror movie virgin a little bit, you know. So
You know what?
Initiation.
I'd love to go back to being like that, to not having seen all the movies that I've seen. Do you know what? And watching them for the first
And
time,
just
going,
rewatch them again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like I'd love to go back to me being 10 or 11 or 12, watching Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time, and
Yeah.
that scene with
it's
Freddy in the alleyway when he's like this.
Hmm.
okay. I think I got one. It's not like super horror like, but Train to Busan.
Me,
Have you ever?
the zombie one.
Yeah, I gotta go.
That's not. I meant me as in it's not. I wouldn't say that's obscure. That's quite a big one.
I was gonna say, I just that movie,
It was good,
and
wasn't
I
it?
didn't know they made like a sequel to it.
Train to somewhere else,
I
isn't it?
think
Yeah.
is it a sequel or is it
Peninsula.
a spin-off?
Yeah, I think it's a second part or somewhere
Mhm.
along the way. Yeah,
But that's the only other one I could think of that's not like Friday the 13th or
yeah. No, that's I wouldn't quite call that obscure myself, but it's a good choice.
If I'm
It is.
putting my honorable mention in there, then I'd say probably Shaun of the Dead or The Descent. One of those two.
They're not obscure.
The
Oh no, I know that.
Initiation.
I
Just
know that. Yeah.
those are
1984. The
American.
Initiation.
There you go.
Yeah. No, Shaun of the Dead is the best um zombie comedy in my opinion.
Oh yeah, hands down. Yeah. That's my favorite zombie movie of all time. Yeah, exactly.
And The Descent is one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Again, I would absolutely agree.
I interviewed Neil Marshall there a year or two ago, and we were
No
talking.
shit.
Yeah, and
Wow.
Joe, when you say starstruck, because he's done two of my favorite films of all time.
Is it
Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
Dog Soldiers is the greatest werewolf movie ever made, lads. Just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, hands down. Yeah. Yeah.
The Descent, but I got a message off one of the lads just before we went on screen with him, and it was a picture of when your kids are being bold and they torment you enough that you let them watch a horror movie and you put this on, and it's the scene, Joe, when she's turning around with the night vision camera, and
Oh
you see the
God.
creature
Yeah.
standing behind, and when it gets to this scene, and you know you fucked up as a parent. So I had to turn around and show it to him as we were doing it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, my first memory of The Descent, I was living by myself, and it was at the time when like you could download stuff, and like I had somebody send it to me, and it was like a super bootlegged version of it, and I was literally huddled at my computer. It was like 2005 or 2006, and it was like maybe this big on my computer, my old CRT screen. It was tiny, and it was like the resolution was
On
crap.
Windows Movie Maker or something.
Right. And I was like, and I was watching it, and I still got the shit scared out of me. And I was like, this is terrifying. And so like I went and I bought a DVD version of it, finally, like an international like region free copy of it. And I just watched it as soon as it came to my house, and I was like, I was just in love with that movie. I absolutely love that movie.
Well, just on that then, right? Or just before we finish off. So The Descent is 20 years old this year.
Yeah.
Right? Came out in 2005.
Yeah.
Right? And Dog Soldiers came out in 2003. But there's an author and a director and an actress, or director and author, obviously, Janine Pipe, who wrote a book called Sausages, the Making of Dog Soldiers. Right? So she's a good friend of Neil Marshall's, but it has all like behind the scenes and pictures and stuff of it.
Yeah.
But she's doing one for The Descent.
No shit.
And I'm like, yeah, gonna have to get that too.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've watched the behind the scenes stuff on the DVD, and I'm just like, some of the stuff that they came up with, I'm like, that's just ingenious ways of filmmaking.
But like when you look at
But,
that,
yeah.
that man's first two movies was Dog Soldiers and The Descent.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I'm
more
like,
do you want?
yeah, I'm like, you could call it a career at that point. I'm like, and he's still doing some great stuff, but I'm just like, those two movies are fucking fantastic, you know?
Even the second one was good. The Descent 2 was good.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand that movie. Yeah. I cannot stand it. Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
think
Mark,
it was needed.
Mark, you love 1980s action films, cheesy action films. In the sequel of The Descent, the cop in that film is actually the lead
Gavin.
guy from Death Wish 3.
And also from Willow.
Yes,
which
yeah.
So he's Eric, but then he's also the terrible shitty boyfriend from Superman 3. So
Superman 3. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Speaking of terrible movies.
Awful, awful.
I,
There hasn't really been a good Superman movie though, in all honesty, lads. Like the old ones are okay, but there hasn't been a good Superman movie.
Not lately. Yeah, and I'm not waiting for James Gunn either. So
No, it's going to be about a 15-hour long movie.
yeah, I'm not a fan of James Gunn at all on any level. So
You didn't like Guardians?
no, not at all.
Oh,
Not my cup of tea. Yeah.
Guardians was awesome.
Mark was very upset when that movie came out.
Was that because he didn't get cast as Rocky?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Right, lads, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back. Mark, we'll keep in touch, obviously, because I want to see this movie, and it's got to happen.
Absolutely, and we're definitely gonna get you a copy as soon as we've got it completed here. Like I said, once our sound mix is done, we'll get you a copy right over.
Yeah, because I'm not flying to Pittsburgh.
Oh no, I get it.
I'm too poor for that. But it's been a pleasure to have you back on, Mark. Definitely, once I get a chance to see it, we'll have you back again, and we'll break the movie down.
Absolutely, yeah. We'd love to come back.
Absolutely, Dan. It's appreciate your first time coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you had fun.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
It could have been worse. You should have seen one of the ones that we done a couple of weeks ago with a couple of guests, and I picked on one of them for the whole show. The whole show.
You know, that's just what makes it gives it character.
Yeah.
It builds character up inside of people. As soon as they go off, they start crying.
Yes.
The Irish humor is different to every other humor in the world.
We love it.
And then obviously DJ, welcome back. Welcome to the Record Holders Club.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
We love it.
Again, appreciate you all coming on, and I appreciate you reaching out to set this up. Obviously it was nice having Kelsey as well, and she's off on set now, so hopefully all goes well for her. Mark and the team, I hope the movie is a huge success. I hope the premieres work out.
Fingers crossed.
Busier than you expected. I don't know what the right way to say it is. To sell out.
No. Like I said, hopefully we're gonna have a ton of people turning out for it, and like I said, just word of mouth and just blast it out to the world. So,
and if there's a signed poster from everybody, you know where to send one for the collection.
Hey, I'm just saying, we'll see everybody at the premiere in August, and we'll just get everybody to sign one and send it over to you.
Yeah, yep. Let's go. It'll go with the collection nicely.
Right, exactly.
It's growing. But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. And what I'll do is I'll finish this the way I finish every single Friday night. In the words of the great George A. Romero, ladies and gentlemen, stay scared.